Hey guys, welcome back to the MC Stuco midterm map tutorial. This video is part 2, and this video follows the part 1 video which I have linked in the description. If you haven't already, I highly suggest you to check out part 1 before this video because we will be using resources and items that we obtained in part 1 throughout this video. Let's get started. So in part 1, we actually got away with using only resources from the chests we found so far. But however, in this part, since the second half is a little bit harder, you do need some basic survival resources. So we do need to first of all harvest the trees that we grew in part 1. Now there was an issue actually with the trees I planted in part 1. It turned out the lighting was not sufficient enough. So you actually might need to put a bit more torches around for the trees to actually be able to grow up. I'll fast forward this part a little bit. But basically, once you have the trees, you want to craft your essential things like the pickaxes, sword, and maybe an axe just to harvest trees faster. For the sword here, since we have 2 diamonds from the chest we got earlier in part 1, you actually can craft a diamond sword, and a diamond sword would be very useful in the mob section of this midterm map. Here it is actually smarter to not craft all of the logs into wooden planks because we actually do need torches later on, and smelting these oak logs into charcoal is a very good and easy way of obtaining those torches. You can also see that I mined some cobblestone so I can craft a furnace using it, and then with the furnace I can cook food, etc. Basically just the usual survival essentials you can just get at this stage. Alright, now while the food is cooking, let me show you how to obtain the 7th wool. So for the 7th wool, you want to go to the adventure section, jump up, get across the tower, and then go to the left here. There's actually a yellow wool inside this section that's filled with water. Normally, if you try to go through this water section, you'll most likely drown because it is pretty long and then you don't have air pockets inside of there for you to breathe. However, in Minecraft, there's a little bit of a cheesy technique you can do, which is actually craft a wooden door or an iron door and bring it with you. And once you put the door down, it actually creates a 1x2 air pocket that you can stand in. And this allows you to essentially breathe underwater. So you can just explore this section, mine through the sand wall, and then just follow these little kelp, I guess, go around the bedrock, etc. And then with the door, whenever you're running out of breath, and you can see that by the bubbles on the top right side of the hotbar, you can just prop the door down and then stand in there, and now you can breathe. And so let's just get the yellow wool and then use the same technique to get out of here. Theoretically, if you're very familiar with this map, you can go fast enough so that even without a door you can get in there, grab the yellow wool, and come back still alive, even though you do take some damage, but it is not recommended for most players. It is a speedrun tactic that you can use though. On our way out of this section, we actually want to get our 8th wool, which is the final wool in the adventure section. Simply break open this wall here, and inside the tower in the basement there's actually a little chest. Now I'm going to pause here for a second to explain what I'm going to do, because this looks just like any other chest. However, there are actually 2 key things about this. So first is that you can't actually open this chest right now because there's a solid block above it. And second is that the solid block above it is actually a silverfish infested block. And there are also a lot of other silverfish infested blocks around this area as well. If you don't know about this mechanic in Minecraft, silverfish infested blocks actually spawn silverfish on you when you break the block. And then when one silverfish spawns, it actually triggers like a chain response of many other silverfish blocks around the area, also breaking and spawning. So if you're not careful here, you might end up with like 10 silverfish that are just chasing after you, and it will give you a pretty hard time and you might die. So we want to be careful to not trigger any silverfish blocks here. The easiest way to do that will be actually just to break the chest and only the chest. So only the chest breaks and no silverfish can spawn, and we can grab the materials that are dropped from the chest that way. And you can see that we did indeed get the red wool from the chest drops. So let's mine our way out of here, and we're only left with the final 4 wool, which are all inside the mobs section. which is probably the hardest section of all. So you'll want to be absolutely geared up. Here, let's grab all our food. Let's also craft some torches because we need the torches to stop the mob spawners inside the section. So I actually did some off-cam grinding, and then I got 18 torches here. I feel like 18 is about the bare minimum. It's recommended you get at least 20 because there are a lot of places you have to light up in here. Once you feel like you're ready, let's hop right into the final section. This section basically consists of many rooms, and the first thing you want to do when you enter each room is to light up the room using torches. This is because each room has a mob spawner, and the mob spawner will keep spawning mobs unless the light level is high enough. So you want to do that first, and then kill off any mobs that may have spawned before you lit the room up. The second room actually contains our first wool in this section, which is the purple wool. In addition to that, they actually provide some pretty good gear, so I would recommend just put on the full iron suit of armor and grab some iron ingots for later use. We then go through the next few rooms in a similar way, lighting up the rooms and also killing off the mobs that spawned within the time. So this room has the spider spawner. We light it up. And the next room actually doesn't have a spawner, I think, so we can kind of skip it. This room definitely doesn't have a spawner. Now this room is actually a big one and it actually contains charged creeper spawners. So they're very, very dangerous. So we want to light up the entire area as soon as possible and make sure that all the areas are lit because it's so big. We might miss some parts, so just make sure you use enough torches on all parts of this room. In this room, the spawner on top actually drops helpful potions like regeneration and healing potions, so you don't have to break the spawner here. Here's when we can find the second wool in this section, the magenta wool. And we can also find a shield, a diamond chestplate, and some more diamonds here. Now aside from the wool, I definitely recommend taking the shield and the diamond chestplate with you. The shield will be used on this section to the left, which has a whole bunch of skeletons in there, so you definitely want your shields to block the arrows. These arrows, as you see, actually have the levitation effect, so if you get hit by them, it's very, very hard to recover and fall back to the ground and walk to the other side of the hallway. So there is a chest at the other end of this hallway, but if you don't light this part up, the skeletons keep spawning. So there are a few strategies here. The one I figured out is basically hold out your shield 99% of the time so the skeletons won't be able to hit you, and then in like the remaining 1% of the time, just for a fraction of a second, place the torch down so you can prevent further skeletons from spawning. Now when we get to the other side, we see that there is the pink wool in the chest and also some golden apples. You definitely want to take the golden apples to heal if you took any damage. Here you still have to be kind of careful because even though you lit the place up so no more skeletons can spawn, there are still a few more skeletons that are usually down there, so they can still hit you. But it's already much better without them spawning. So just ease your way back, holding out your shield, and just block the entrance in case a skeleton do decide to levitate out and hit you. Now we have one final wool left to grab, and this is situated on the room to the opposite side of the skeleton room. Now this room basically consists of a pit with a spawner that spawns very, very powerful mobs, and the wool is at the bottom of the pit in the middle, and you have to mine through a layer of emerald block to get to the chest. Here you could just go the normal route and just jump down into the pit, place torches down so no more mobs can spawn, and try to kill off the mobs. But these mobs are very, very powerful, so it's possible that before you kill them, you actually get obliterated by them. So you could do it. You have a decent gear, but even with this gear, it usually takes about like 20 to 30 hits, even critical hits actually, to even kill off one of the mobs. So you could just slowly do it. You could go back and get some more resources, maybe even enchant some of the stuff, or you can try some more I don't know, smarter strategies. Later on in this video, I show a way where you can use some lava buckets to actually just flood the entire pit using lava to kill them off very easily without any trouble. But yeah, if you think 11 is enough, you can always just come back and then place the 5 wool we got so far and complete 11 out of 12 of the monuments. Yeah, the last one is just really hard. The first time I did it, it took me I don't know, like 30 minutes to 1 hour to just get the wool, like get the final wool. So yeah, definitely try some creative strategies here. The sky's our limit, basically. Now here I'm just going to show off the lava bucket strategy that I mentioned earlier. This is one of the possibly many strategies you can use. But if you do try to use this strategy, first of all you need to craft this iron bucket. Just go to the crafting table, get a few of those, and then you need to go get lava. Now the closest place where there is lava is actually in this left side of the traps, and you have to mine a little bit. Initially the lava is part of a trap, so you actually fall into the lava, but we can make use of the trap lava to our advantage. So you basically dig down here until you see the lava, and then using your buckets you can just scoop up some lava and bring it over to the mob pit. Now, once you come back, it is possible that most, if not all of the mobs have despawned. So that will work to our advantage. But in case they didn't despawn, well, it's time to throw some lava down. One thing you'll notice is that the zombie actually tries to follow you, to attack you even though he's all the way down there and you're all the way up here. But, you know, zombies are dumb, so they just do that. So we can lure him into a corner while lava is pouring down onto his head. Poor little zombie, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Here you can actually see how tanky these mobs are, because like you're gonna see them get damaged by the lava for probably about 30 seconds before they even die. So yeah, I mean, just wait, and eventually they'll die off. Yeah, without the speed up, it took more than 30 seconds for it to die off. Now, once they all died off, you can collect the lava and go down there and collect your last wool. Now, keep in mind that once the lava disappears, the room actually gets darker, and it also may have washed away any of the torches you previously placed down. So make sure you bring torches down and light up all the areas again before it gets dark, so you can ensure that no more of these pesky little mobs spawn. Here I use some contained lava as a substitute for the torches, but yeah, definitely the torches are better. Now you just mine away the emerald block, and the final wool sits right beneath it in this chest. And there's our last wool. You also get a whole bunch of diamonds and some tridents. And now finally what you have to do is to bring all the wool back to the pedestal in the middle, or the monument, whatever you call it, and line it all up so you have completed 12 out of 12 wool. The last brown wool goes on the rightmost side of the monument, and that's it. You've completed all 12 objectives of this midterm map. And this is what I guess speedrunners will call an any percent run. And that concludes this tutorial. There are actually a lot more hidden stuff in this map, such as you are actually able to spawn the wither in this map. So there are lots of stuff hidden. There are actually also legendary items that are hidden, which can give you like really strong enchanted axe and an elytra and even an enchanted stick. So yeah, you can explore around and try to find, but this tutorial is meant for you to be able to complete the midterm. So that's it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and have fun playing Minecraft.